Hey everyone, welcome to Crocozuna Productions. Today I'm going to try my hand at Kendo Q&A. I've been receiving some really good questions from some subscribers, and I thought I'd share 5 of them here with you. One note for the channel, I'm going to put a hold on doing some sumo videos because it's a lot of trouble to edit the footage and then have 30 views or so. And I also realize that a lot of sumo fans are just as delusional as WWE fans, so not really enjoying that aspect of the channel, so I'm going to put it on hold unless I get enough requests. I know the origamis don't get a lot of views, but that's a passion of mine almost as much as Kendo is, so I know I haven't done one for a while, but I'm going to continue. So let's get on with the Kendo Q&A. So this is a good question, other than Suburi, while a lot of us are spending more time at home, away from the dojo, what kind of workouts can we do? So the answer I gave was do something that replicates the duress of Kendo. I mean, if we don't find a way to replicate that, we're gonna have a hard time going back to the dojo. It's gonna feel like starting all over again. So what can that be? I think it's pretty personal. Is it a mile run? Is it doing another sport? I've been doing a lot of boxing training, watching some YouTube videos, doing some high intensity interval training on that, and that's really helped me because I struggle through 6-7 rounds of that. I prefer that to running. I've been doing a lot of walking, but that really doesn't replicate the duress of Kendo. And one other thing I've really challenged myself with, and this is actually not just physical, but for the ki or the spirit aspect, is to do some of, I don't know if you've heard the name Sean T. He's a celebrity trainer, a lot of videos. The one I use is I purchased T25. There's an alpha and a beta, and believe me, I'm still on the alpha. Very hard. It really tests my ki to power through those workouts. So I don't do them every day as prescribed, but I have been doing them here and there just to make something, like I said, to replicate the duress of Kendo. But remember too that if we're gonna do Kendo related workouts, make sure that they're not just to test ourselves physically, but to also make sure that you maintain some form of technique. So a good video, I'm going to plug one of my own, is the 5-layer Suburi method. I don't know if you've watched that, because if you can do 100 of those, it's a pretty good workout. And if you could do more, by all means, as long as you maintain the quality. And the other thing you have to do is, really keep that spirit of Kendo where you have to challenge yourself and overcome hurdles. You can't do something that's relatively easy and then walk away feeling satisfied about it. So that's the answer I gave to that question. So you'll see me looking down my trusty old red notebook. Those who work with me will see it a lot too, but this is where I'm a bit old school in that way. I like to write down my answers. Second question I've gotten is it's somebody who's wanting to test for Yondan, or the 4th dan, and what is the approach that they should take. And this one is a little bit tough because a general approach you should take to grading is pretty similar across the board, but the answer I gave is that Yondan, you're getting to a pretty high level, so you have to put the time in. Training once a week or every other week, you're not going to get there unless you are truly a talented individual that was born to do Kendo, and many of us don't fit that profile. You have to put the time in, and you have to not just put the time in, but you have to put honest time in. You have to really put in quality training time. You have to establish a skill set that you are comfortable with, meaning that Kendo exams are very short time, everybody's going to be nervous and stressed, so you have to make sure that you establish a skill set that you're comfortable with, so that you could even perform under that type of stress. And if you have this kind of flexibility at your dojo, you can ask your sensei, or if you do run some practices, do some 90-second interval jigekos with people close to you in skill, meaning, try to replicate, try to, give yourself some idea of what 90 seconds feels like, because, obviously during the test you don't see a clock, so that way you'll know, okay, this is what 90 seconds is, and this is what I am capable of doing during the 90 seconds. But most of all, I already mentioned this, be honest with yourself. You have to ask yourself the hard questions, and you have to give the honest answers. Did I do enough? Am I truly prepared to show the judges my best kendo? Or ultimately, you want to be judged on what is your best. You don't want to show up and do something subpar. Your best chance of passing is always going to be your best kendo. And this is something that I've truly believed in for a long time. You have to ask yourself, am I going to walk in with no excuses, and am I going to walk out with no regrets? This is very important. This is the spirit that you need to have when, challenging yourself. So if not, any other factors, waza, whatever, doesn't matter. It's more technical elements I can address in future videos, or we can discuss these things personally if you'd like. But yeah, walk in, once again, no excuses, walk out, no regrets. Trust me on that one. So when is a good time for a beginner to start wearing Bogu? Well, a lot of people will say, well, it should be about 3 months, or a lot of people will say, well, it depends on the person. Both are decent answers, but, when you could take the 3 months and say, well, they only showed up once every other week, 3 months really doesn't matter. So there really is no answer. It really does depend on a case-by-case or individual basis. Some people are going to be ready sooner. It's part of life, right? We must also evaluate their dedication and also keep track of their attendance and the effort that they are putting in when they are at the dojo. This is why the instructors have to make sound decisions, because this could affect this individual's future in Kendo. So the one advice I would give is, do not restrict yourself with a timeline. Really take what you know about Kendo, the lessons you've learned about Kendo, and evaluate the individual based on this. I've heard the argument, well, if we don't let them wear Bogu sooner or later, they're going to quit on us. Yeah, I know. I've thought that before too. But, so let me ask you this question. If this person is the type of person that's going to quit because they're not allowed to wear Bogu, is this the type of individual that you want to, build your dojo around, have in your dojo, or that type of attitude? Ask yourself that question, and ask yourself, well, if they're gonna quit over not wearing Bogu, what are they gonna do after they lose their first shiai or fail their first test? So it's tough. It's tough. A lot of people will say, well, that's not fair. Well, what is fair? This is Kendo, right? There's gonna be a lot of difficult decisions to be made, and so I personally, make sure that at least they do have a good spirit, have some ambition, and one thing I always preach is, well, they should at least be able to strike something that resembles a men, whether it's big or not. I think that's a level that I like to see students at before they start putting on Bogu. But if you're an instructor, it's your responsibility to really know your students and to really guide them. And if you're doing this, then the moment when they should first wear Bogu should be pretty clear, if not obvious. So here's one that I get asked a lot, and they're very difficult to answer. It's how do I improve my judging skills? Now, this is definitely a topic that I will not only address in a future video or maybe even a series of videos, but I have been given the green light to start giving seminars in my home region. So if everybody's welcome to these, and once we can go back to having gatherings, I will announce those seminars. And I've really thought out the menu for these, and I think those of you who will attend will find them very very interesting, if not like productive. But first and foremost, though, since we are at home a lot, the one thing you can do is look at the resources that are available. We have a wonderful thing called the internet. You could learn the commands, you could learn the flag positioning, you could learn how to move the flags, you could learn how to stand properly, what to wear. The guide is, I think every Bogu vendor sells the refereeing guide. So there's a lot of resources, and if you study the rules, this will help a lot, because I think it's pretty obvious that when we go to tournaments, there are a lot of people who do not know a lot of these things that they could have studied on their own. And I also believe that once you reach maybe Nidan or something, it's a good time to start thinking about these things. And that's why I'm going to open a lot of my seminars to, possibly Shodan and up, so that they can really start to learn before they get thrown out onto a court and realize that they're way in above their heads. And also, it's a good time to be a fan of Kendo. I know Kendo is not everybody's preferred spectator sport. It's, I ain't gonna lie, it's not mine. And because it's just very difficult to digest when you're watching a match. And but watch, there's millions of matches on YouTube you could watch at various levels, and just watch those and pretend to be a judge. Just pay attention to what the players are doing. Try to really try to feel what the players are doing, and try to almost predict what the players are doing, and then judge for yourself. Whoa, was that a point? I don't know, would I have given that? So I think those are things you can do at home to improve your judging skills. And one thing too that you want to start thinking about is not to have any bias. A waza is a waza is a waza. If it is a yuko datotsu, or a point scoring strike, it is a point. You can't get into interpreting things the way that's based around perhaps how you do Kendo. I've heard things like, well, I don't really feel hikiwaza, it has to be perfect. No, hikiwaza is a point. If all the kikentai elements are fulfilled, it's a point. That's just a small example of some biased thinking that you may encounter as judges. So anybody who's ever competed really knows that how important judging is. So something to be taken seriously. And if I've, as a court judge, I've told people before, if you aren't serious, just do not accept the task. Just sit and watch, because this is a serious business to the players, and not only should you take it as seriously, you should take it even more seriously. So in order to become a better judge, yes, it begins with that attitude and a lot of the stuff that I've already outlined during the answer to this question. So we're going to the final question, which is muscle building bad for Kendo? Well, any physical improvement is never a bad thing, but be mindful of the purpose. If you're going to just make your arms stronger to strike, good. If you want to just make them bigger for the sake of looking bigger, that might, hinder your movement. I don't know. Some people can have big arms and do Kendo. Some people, I don't know. So some can, some can't. Legs, it really depends too. It really, boils down to what kind of athlete you're looking to be and why. Do you want to improve strength, speed, stamina? So I weight train, nothing crazy. I do 30-pound dumbbell workouts. That's about it, just to pretty much maintain what I have and try to get a little bit leaner. But I don't attempt to bench press my own body weight or anything like that. And so I really hope that this helps. And please feel free to send me any questions. As you can see, I'll really think about the answer and try to give you the best answer possible to help your Kendo. And at the end of this video, I will post ways to get those questions to me. So once again, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.